All right. Hi, Coach Mike. After we review the lesson, can you tell me what are the things that you thought went really well in your lesson?
Sure. So I did INTAS Standards 6, 7, and 8. Hopefully we're building upon what we did in the previous. I have the same students. So in INTAS Standards 6, we really focused on like shot placement and communication. I think they improved. On at least understanding what I meant by the shot placement, because I brought a little net to place down, and I moved that around various courts. So there was 3 positions. One was at the back of the court, one was in the middle, and one was like a drop shot towards the front of the net. So instead of just saying, hey, do a drop shot, which they may not understand, they could physically see where the net is. So I don't necessarily know if it led to better results, but I think at least better comprehension. And then another was, just communication, the idea of calling out shots, being vocal with your, your competitor, but not your competitor, but your teammate. Something I could do better on that is I think I really need to be better about probably explaining shot placement to them. I think they did. I think they grasped it, but it still was hard for them to understand the muscle memory. I think that was difficult. I did try and teach them, like, hey, when you hit it that hard, try and remember in your mind what that felt like, because I can't tell you. It's hard for me to tell you how hard to hit it. Something you got to feel it. So that's a very confusing thing. So, so that was INTAS Standard 6. And let's see, moving on to 7 here. So INTAS Standard 7. If I'm being truthful, I think I need to be better about data. Comparing data from the different filming sessions. The students were supposed to be at 7 out of 10 serves, so a serve from the baseline into the court. So they're supposed to be getting 7 out of 10, so 70%. I think for purposes of not discouraging them, I did not track it to that level. So for better or worse, I probably need to be better about that. Now maybe it's just to myself that I keep track of the data, but I probably should be keeping track of something that shows that they're improving or disproving. But again, I just don't want to discourage them, because I think they can easily get down. So that was that for 7. Let's see, INTAS Standard 8. I probably need to ask more higher order questions. Again, I think they were a little bit confused about shot placement. I think that's just kind of a foreign. I think the reason why it's a foreign concept to them is because, to them they just think about just hitting the ball in the court. They're not necessarily thinking about going to angles, going long, going short. I think they're just thinking about getting it over the net. So that's something I tried to instill upon them. But we probably could spend more time on that.
Okay, wonderful.
So those are 6, 7, and 8.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I love how reflective you are. I think you have very high expectations of yourself to make sure that the kids are getting to where you want them to be.
Thanks.
I do want to kind of dive a little deeper in the data piece that you talked about, because I know you said that you didn't want them to feel defeated. But I think I think data should kind of have that opposite effect. Is that like kids should be able to see, okay, at the beginning of the lesson, where am I? In the middle of my lesson, how many serves did I get? And at the end of the lesson, how many serves they got? And sometimes it might be a decline, and the kids need to know what those things are. But I would think that based on kind of what your lessons are laid out, I would guess that your kids are going to be improving, and I think it's actually going to be encouraging for them to be able to see that growth. And then I think, and I really resonated with you about what you said about the practice. I used to tell kids this, like, if you try to brush your teeth with your non-dominant hand, it takes about 21 days.
There you go.
And then you can also use that analogy with the kids, like go home and try to brush your teeth with your non-dominant hand, and then the first time is not going to be easy. Second time is not going to be easy. It takes about 21 times to practice that in order for it to be natural. And so that's an analogy that you can also use for your teachers as well, or for your students to be like, hey, how many times have you tried it? Have you gotten better each time? So I definitely think the data piece is important, and then also kind of reiterating the kids, hey, why am I pushing you to practice more of?
I mean, just in what you said right there, I feel like I did come up with a solution as far as not getting them discouraged, which is, and maybe I'd have to go back to the first lesson, but it would be to really, if I was, really keeping track, to really be on it about what's in and out, because to almost encourage them to be like, well, you got 2 out of 10.
Yep.
So now you got 5 out of 10.
Right. You can only go right. You can only put,
and
right.
maybe make it a little bit lenient as you go up, so that they kind of
and focus on progress. It's like, hey, you might start at 2. If you get 3 next time, celebrate it. That's making progress,
So
and I think that's going to help encourage the students.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Wonderful.
that's all I got. I'm in test standard 6, 7, 8.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Well done.
I appreciate it.